Okay. Hi, Yolanda.
Hello, Mel. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you today?
I'm good, good. Thank you.
Great. I just want to welcome you to the Cottage Club Stories, which is a forum that we use to highlight home-based business owners and, just so you can tell us a bit about what you do. So I'll thank you for coming on. So first question I would say is tell us what your business is about. It's called Letting the Light In, but what does that actually mean?
I'm an inner voice coach, and I study somatic therapy, NLP coaching, accountability, and it's pretty much I'm a coach, obviously, and it's about stories. My focus is all about the stories we tell ourselves, whether that's personal, business, and how those stories inform how we communicate and therefore what our relationships are like. But also, one of my main focuses is helping people actually identify their own voice, who they really are, always were, and want to be, and finding ways through all the noise of whatever's gone before their childhood, the stories they're carrying, what they tell themselves to become who they want to be.
Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, what does somatic mean? What's the word somatic?
Well, soma is your body.
Oh,
So, we all know now, and there's still a lot of research backing this up, is that stress, trauma, it's all carried in the body,
yeah.
because as children, we encounter situations that we have no power over, that we can't control. And when you cannot work through something that was stressful as a child, it gets stuck in your body. So you could end up as an anxious person, which I was, and you could end up depressed in adulthood, which I was. So basically, what it comes down to for a lot of people who suffer from anxiety or depression is that if you are living in the past because of memories, or this didn't happen, or that did happen, or why didn't they love me, that shows as depression, because your body is still reacting, still pining for that past. It didn't get a chance to express your feelings. And if you are living in the future, you end up with anxiety. Your mind, along with your body reinforcing it through palpitations, sweats, feeling nervous. You're living in the future because your mind is trying to predict your future. So quite often we really struggle with not just living in the present and using what we have to move us in the direction we want to go in. We find ourselves stuck in this place of not being able to make decisions because we don't actually really know what we want, because we don't know who we are.
Yeah, and I find that really interesting, especially the past and the future, and the way that you've linked it to the depression or the anxiety.
Mm.
Because I've become more conscious about the present, so I do try and live in the present as much as I can, and potentially use the past for reference. But I
Yes.
do realize there is a lot of people throughout the world of all ages who really struggle to find anything kind of positive within their presence due to their past.
Yes.
Um, so yes, that's really interesting that you do that kind of work, and you work with individuals, but you also work with couples as well, which is great. So can you tell me a bit about what you've got going on at the moment? Have you got anything that our viewers can actually take part in?
Yes, absolutely. So obviously, as well as the individual and group coaching, it's not just partners. It can be parent child, it could be friends, that kind of thing, where there's a communication problem. But the group offerings I teach mindfulness and meditation, because quite often we're sort of hearing that we should meditate or we should live mindfully, but actually we're not often taught what that means and how to do it. So I go through the practicalities, literally the practical, what you do physically, and things you can take away and do at all times in your day to help you become mindful and find that inner calm. I also do wild writing, which is it's a somatic based automatic writing, subconscious writing. So quite often when you journal, quite a lot of people like to journal, and it's really good for getting things out of your head, writing down what you want from your life, how you feel about something. But actually, for a lot of us, so for example, for me, I didn't really know what I wanted with my life at a certain point. You know, there's probably a decade, 2 decades of not really knowing who I was and what I wanted. And writing things down didn't help. And I found subconscious writing through some workshops that I did. So I did some writing workshops, I did some superconscious workshops, I've done the somatic therapy training, and I've put it all together into a package that allows me to help people really calm that and quiet that critical voice that says, you can't, you're not good enough, this isn't for you, who do you think you are? It bypasses all that. And the writing component comes in after quite a deep meditation. And that then allows your subconscious, all those things that you deny yourself or you've forgotten from childhood, the things you used to love,
suppress.
or suppress. But because your mind is quietened through sort of a guided visualization meditation that takes you on specific journeys, it allows you, your body, all those trapped memories, emotions, wishes, dreams, they can be brought back to the surface, reactivated, and then you can start actually seeing that, yes, I could do that. For me personally, when I was a young teenager, early 20s, I wanted to be a counsellor. But back then I thought, well, I know I've got anxiety and depression, I can't really be a counsellor. Or, you know, I had a child and a mortgage, that's not going to pay, I believed it wouldn't pay my bills. And when I started retraining, I realized actually my calling, the thing I should have been doing my entire life, was that, because that is literally 30 years later what I'm now doing.
I think, you know, you said about, you know, it's your calling and it is about finding your purpose, but again, finding who you are. And I think what you're telling us now is that you've got the methods, the tools,
Yes.
to do that,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. So, when are these, the Wild Rising? That sounds lovely. I love the word wild. When's that taking place? And also somatic healing.
Yeah, so on Tuesday the 20th, Tuesday coming, I have an introduction to what mindfulness actually is. It's a free online, 7 till 8 o'clock. Just connect with me if you're in time. If not, I'll be repeating it. The Wild Writing, I've got a couple of online workshops, 24th February and I think the 4th of March in the afternoon. 24th is in the evening, I think. I'll have to check. And then I've got a 9-week course, because one workshop's very good for
Right, really.
identifying what's bothering me at the moment. But if you want to go deeper and you like the process, I take you from childhood through the current time and then to the future. And we go through various procedures to find out who you really are, what you really want, and how you're going to get there. And because I'm a certified life coach and accountability coach, as well as the meditation and the sort of emotional holding that I can do with the somatic therapy, I'm also quite good at holding people accountable to what they say they want and what they really want, and taking those steps. So after, they can repeat courses or we can do one-to-one work to push them forward.
That's great. Sounds really exciting what you've got planned. So you've got the two things that are coming up. So, you said obviously your participants will kind of release maybe some kind of negative beliefs or limiting
Yes.
beliefs, etc., from the past, and then obviously open up this whole new world of who they are and where they want to go and their purpose, really. So, you know, it can be quite emotional for you, I would suggest, in that arena, because you might have people who break down in terms of crying, you know, screaming, shouting, whatever, because it is a release. It's a release from the body. So, how do you then yourself deal with that? You know, what kind of things do you do for yourself to ensure that you're not carrying somebody else's projections or, you know,
Yeah.
negative thoughts, etc.?
Well, because of the training and because I've been there, felt it, let it go, I know that it's an emotion, and I know that you can separate that emotion from the memory, because that's what I've done. You know, I'm not saying you'd be fully cured, but you learn to manage them so much better. So actually, I'm very good at big picture. I can see where somebody's going. And when someone starts crying, it's like, oh, yes, because they're letting it out. So I
Yeah,
know they're about to start
yeah,
moving back, then forward, then back, then forward. So I'm okay with that. I can hold space for people there. But for myself, I'm a gardener. So I've been out today because it's been a lovely sunny day for a change.
lovely.
And yeah. So my son dug us a pond. So we're now trying to make that pretty and hide all the membrane and tidying up all the winter mess. So I just love being in my garden. Love
Yeah,
just
nature's,
seeing things grow.
yeah, nature's such a healer.
It is.
Okay, so 3 top tips then that our viewers can take away if they can't make your courses. What would those be?
Wow, top tips. So, oh, blimey. Firstly, going back to
Mhm.
mindfulness, if you are finding yourself frustrated, angry, upset, you're reacting to a situation around you, try and take some deep breaths before you react, because action to reaction it's a somatic reaction. It's in your body, and you don't often want to react that way, but you feel like you can't help it. But if you can make that pause a few seconds and then a few seconds longer, you are starting to break that pattern. So try and make that gap.
Okay.
Try and make it into a response, not a reaction. And that leads to the second point, which is breathing. Quite often you might notice, particularly when you're anxious, when you breathe, it's shallow and fast, and it gets stuck at your diaphragm, it gets stuck at your ribs. And that actually causes the anxiety reaction, the parasympathetic reaction in the sympathetic reaction in your body goes into flight or fight mode because it's not relaxed. If you can take a deep belly breath all the way down, relax that belly. Some people find it quite hard to relax the belly muscles. Let it all go and then just sigh it all out. Do that a few times. Hear yourself letting it out. That will calm your central nervous system to help you manage whatever situation you're in. The third one is, I guess you could try journaling. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to write down. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to write things. I hated journaling years ago because what was in my head, I didn't want that on paper as well. It was too much in my head. Why would I want to write it down as well? But actually, if you can let emotions out at the same time, it's very cathartic. And find the right support for doing that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just to finish off then, Yolanda, could you just repeat the 2 things that you've got coming up and how people can get in touch with you to take part?
Yeah, sure. So I've got a 2-part mindfulness free workshops. First one is on Tuesday the 20th. The following one is the following Tuesday. And they will lead into meditation courses that people can jump on. And the second thing is wild writing for emotional understanding, release, moving forward. And that starts mid-May. So they can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Letting the Light In. Actually, if you put my Linktree underneath would be awesome. So
I can work
Linktree.
out how to do it. I will definitely do that. What's your link tree?
So it's it's linktr.ee
Hmm.
/ letting the light in. And then you'll find 4 of my offerings,
That's
or
brilliant.
ways to find them on different platforms.
Absolutely brilliant. So hopefully, you'll have a fantastic um, few courses coming up. So thank you so much again for coming on the Cottage Club Stories. I look forward to seeing how your work develops,
Thank you.
because you've started something really special here. So take care, have a great afternoon, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye,
Thank you
Yolanda.
for having me. Bye.
You're welcome.